Greetings everyone, Sylvain98 back at it with another reaction. We're back with the next the best custom armor Digivolution Evolutions by Karn EX. As a big Digimon fan, I'm looking forward to this next part because we're apparently on Adventure 02 Dark Digivolutions. Ooh, let's see how this goes.
Form being called Ophiomon ties into the fact
we did this
that
already.
acidic dark boot or
There you go.
imagining of Digimon Adventure 2. So join Pascal and a bunch of artists as we gave those Digimon Survive partners custom art armor evolutions. This video contains no spoilers past or
Digimon Survive armors, my bad, we were in the previous one.
Including Chapter 5 of Digimon Survive, and features no plot-critical spoilers or deaths from the entire game. So yes, giving armor Digivolutions to the Digimon Survive Digimon. Now part of this video does kind of involve assigning crests to the Digimon Survive humans, but I do want to make it clear here that these might not be my final crest picks for all the kids. I nominally agree with most of them, but there are a few moments in different endings that to me might indicate that some kids might shift between two. But for the
I mean, based on the fact that, wow, what was that last time I did my Survive playthrough? Let me know down in the comments below if you guys want to see me return to my Survive playthrough. I remember I was in the sewers last time I remember. Yeah, I was in the sewers. Man, I just lost so many characters back to back on that one. Yeesh. Really hoping the next playthrough I can actually get some of them surviving, as the title suggests.
Purposes of this video, I think the ones that I have picked fit quite well. For this video, we're also omitting the Digi-Eggs of Kindness, Miracles, and Destiny, mainly for some spoiler reasons that if you play the game once, you probably understand, not related to Armor Digi-Eggs, you know what I mean, but also because maybe we'll save them for a future video. So let's begin with Ryo and Kunemon. I gave Ryo Sincerity, and again, I'd like to dance around spoilers, but I think being sincere, being open is a key trait to Ryo. And if we go on the Japanese version of that crest, I think Ryo does also embody purity to a degree. Again, I'm being very careful here, but past a certain point, I do think that Ryo does embody this crest quite well. And I think if you've played Survive a couple of times, you can probably see what I mean. So, taking the Digi-Egg of Sincerity, Kunemon armor digivolves to become Danamon, designed by All Trade. Danamon gets its name from the Dana, a family of dragonflies. But according to All Trade, despite the harmless nature of its namesake, this bug will break you. It can throw its claws like boomerangs to tear its prey to shreds with shocking precision. Even with its seeming lack of eyes, it's capable of seeing the bioelectric aura of any potential enemies within a certain range around itself. But despite its dangerous appearance, Danamon is actually rather skittish, cowardly almost, and prefers to attack from a distance when the opponent least suspects it. I think the challenge of combining the Digi-Egg of Sincerity with Kunemon and producing something that feels unique from both Flymon and Kuwagamon, some very common Kunemon evolutions across all of Digimon media, was a real challenge that All Trade nailed. Plus, using the Digi-Egg shurikens as big claws, inspired. Then, moving over to Shuji, I have
and his wings
given him knowledge. There was a great temptation to give Shuji reliability just like Joe, but I ultimately felt someone else embodied reliability a bit more. As such, knowledge fills the
I have a guess, but I'm gonna wait till he shows.
Gap there. Shuji supposedly knowing more than the others, being older and wiser, and expected to be more smart and knowledgeable by his family. And so his Lotmon will armor digivolve with the Digi-Egg of Knowledge. According to Digmon's reference book listing, the Digimental of Knowledge has the attributes of Earth, and those that don this Digimental would wield the power to manipulate the Earth. So I wanted to preserve that feel with this. Lotmon becoming a powerful digging machine bunny I have dubbed Excamon, drawn by Some Guy 944. The name Excamon coming
Some Guy 944, okay, I like it.
From both excavation, but also excelling in a subject or field. As most rabbit species in the wild live in underground burrows that they dig, this just felt like a really perfect pairing. This Digimon would have an arsenal of attacks similar to Digmon, but also would make huge advantage of its digging ability to burrow under the ground and surprise opponents by popping up where they least expect it to. Saki then, to me, felt natural to get hope. She is a reasonably hopeful person, and I think the kid who probably sees the most hope in the world of the Kemonogami. She also, to me, felt like one of the first to put a positive or hopeful spin on each scenario too, due to her own personal reasons. As such, Saki's Floramon Hope armor form is this, Chlorismon, designed by HLR. And
okay, I like that. That actually looks like a very nice one right there.
Named after the Greek goddess or nymph of spring, flower, and new growth, Chloris. After all, hope does spring a turtle.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Beat me to the meme.
Anyway, Chlorismon is, in my opinion, a truly beautiful Digimon, taking those elements familiar from Pegasusmon, including her name being Greek, but doing something very new with it. Its stamen now a full-on whip of hope it uses to corral its opponents. Then the counterpart to hope in Adventure and 02 is light, and given that Saki is only 1 year older than her, I have given the Digi-Egg of Light to Miu. As the youngest of the group, she is probably the most pure, and also I think represents light and the future of this group of Kemono-destined. She also has a fascinating
Kemono-destined, fair.
With the dark and spooky, with yokai and spirituality, which I think a Heart of Light would help her traverse. But I will also say Sincerity would have been fun for her, as her early personality probably does tie into Mimi a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that kind of made me feel like she could have earned it, but I see why they went with you there.
Again, if you know, you know. But
Yeah.
let's stick to our guns and have Mew's Shakomon armor digivolve with the Digi-Egg of Light to become Mirage Dramon, designed by Dry.
Ooh.
According to Dry, both the Chinese and Japanese
Nice, as it comes from the clan.
mythology share the story of giant clams that create mirages, and are either sea monsters or shape-shifting dragons. These are called Shen or Shinkiro, respectively, which would likely mean Mirage Dramon's Japanese name would be Shinkiromon. Dry said, and I agreed, that Mew and Shakomon have eccentric personalities and both hide their true selves in some way. Mew hides her true feelings with the way she acts and speaks, and Shakomon hides its physical body inside the clamshell. Furthermore, it was Mew who initially guided the group into the temple, igniting the events of the game. As such, Dry designed its armor evolution using the Digimental of Light based on the giant clam myth, the result being a cloudy figure inspired by Chinese dragons and consequently Holy Dramon as well, that guides others to safety or to their doom depending on its mood. Its true form is unknown, as even its armor is a mirage cast by the clamshell. This myth also adds yet another layer of symbolism and connection to the crest, because what is a mirage if not a trick of the light? I absolutely love this take on an armor for Syakomon, because it really feels very different to what we know, but actually ticks most of the armor requirements we're looking for while still doing something fresh. But what about Mew's brother Kaito? Well, I assigned him the Digi-Egg of Love. I think particularly familial love, his love
You know what? Fair. I can see that. Yeah, familial love helping him. Yeah, I can definitely see it. He has his own language of love, but yeah.
for his sister is a hugely important part of his character, no matter how much he may struggle to not be selfish with that love. This familial love, I think, is a much more interesting and fun interpretation of love than just, you know, uwu romance love. Been there, done that in Digimon. So, the love between siblings.
Darn you, Sora and Matt. Oh, we were denied Sora and Tai. I'll forever die on that ship. But I see why they went there.
Of Kaito and Mew, who are on Matt and TK of Survive, feels pretty great. So Dracmon with the Digi-Egg of Love becomes Storgemon, once again designed by All Trade. This is following the idea of Armor Evos taking traits from and resembling the champion forms of a Digimon, hence the resemblance to Sanglutmon. Bird also takes more influence from Kaito than Dracmon. Kaito is a guard dog for Mew. He doesn't really distinguish between genuine threats to her or perceived threats in strangers, so a blind German Shepherd style design seemed fitting. Storgemon is also given a collar with blood written on it in Digicode, both referencing Dracmon's, well, Dracularing, and the blood ties between its partner and his family. And the name Storge comes specifically from the Greek word for that, Storge, familial love. Love that is not romantic, love that is between family and friends. But All Trade actually designated this as Storgemon Fight Mode, as he also designed Storgemon Flight Mode, and said Flight Mode was meant to feel more like a classic armor. Take Dracmon, stick metal to him, stretch the boy out, and boom. This design was meant to more invoke Dracmon's trickster tendencies and to feel like a guardian, a very gargoyle kind of vibe. Once again, some truly wonderful choices in design here from All Trade, and I think forms that feel very familiar to Dracmon and its evolutions, but also fresh and reimagined. And All Trade did add that he doesn't actually consider these mode changes per se, but more two possible forms that this Armor Digivolution could take. Moving over to Aoi, I have given her
I like the guard dog one more.
friendship. Again, crest-like reliability and maybe even love might work for her, but I think friendship sums her up well.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say she would be good for reliability, but then again, yeah, she's more about keeping the friendship together than being more reliable in that case. So yeah.
She's described as the mom of the group sometimes, but definitely is the kind of second in command quite often who keeps the peace with everybody. She also has the Beast Digimon of the group of 8, and so some Matt allegories I think are welcome here as an element of subversion, despite how much Kaito is very Matt-like too. So Labramon Friendship Armor Digivolves to become Barguestmon, designed by some guy 944. For me, I think we're weirdly lacking in dog friendship armor Digimon, given that Garuramon the Wolf is the inspiration for it. So this makes a lot of sense to me, with the Digi-Egg armor forming in familiar ways to Raidramon, but also more suited to a dog, with even the teeth of the Digi-Egg made into a dog muzzle with teeth. It gets its name from the Barghest, a North English mythological monstrous black dog with large teeth and claws. And I specifically decided to tie it into the common black dog mythological creatures because obviously it is a black-clad dog Digimon, but also because one of Labramon's very notable common evolutions across all Digimon media is Cerberusmon, which makes for a very fun connection, as according to Wikipedia, the origins of the black dog are difficult to discern. It is uncertain whether the creature originated in the Celtic or Germanic elements of British culture. Throughout European mythology, dogs have been associated with death. Examples of this are the Cwn Annwn from Welsh, Gum from Norse, and Cerberus of Greek, all of whom were in some way guardians of the underworld. So this design is just nice to see Labramon have an evolution that retains Labramon's body and form, while doing something new, and while tying into the recurrent black dog myths of European culture. Plus that cap is just adorable. Penultimately,
The cap is the key.
is Minoru, who I have given courage. A lot of Minoru's Chapter 1 and 2 story, and even later into the game, is about overcoming his worries, concerns, and fears, and being courageous. Striking out into the world, trying food he doesn't know is is safe, joining fights and making alliances despite his fear. A truly courageous lad, and so his partner Falcomon will courage Armor Digivolve to become Kaibunmon, designed by Capney. Getting its name from Kaibun, the Japanese word for ash, this autumnal-feeling firebird is so much fun. Evocative of many firebirds before it, but also of course Flamedramon, especially in its bipedal nature. Kaibunmon would keep up Minoru's passion and fire of courage in battle to deliver devastating attacks to the enemy. I think Capney really excelled here at bringing forward a familiar silhouette and design from Flamedramon, but giving a much more avian feel that we really have never seen from the egg and yet feels so fitting.
Yeah, well, it feels like Flamedramon and Birdramon came together and merged into that one. I wouldn't mind. I like it actually. It's pretty good.
And finally is Takuma, who I had to give reliability. The entire group of humans and Digimon rely on Takuma. They rely on him as the leader, they rely on him for battle, and of course they rely on him making decisions, both in story.
Yeah, don't I know that feeling from how it definitely was a nice little mixture of Digimon with Fire Emblem feel.
And on a gameplay level, Takuma is the one peacekeeping, making decisions and is looked to constantly for leadership, resourcefulness, and decision-making. And as there's no crest of leadership, I think reliability to be relied upon makes perfect sense. Again, the JP version of reliability is funnily enough sincerity, but I think that is also applicable to Takuma. Regardless of whether we make moral, harmonious, or wrathful decisions as Takuma, the hope, the assumption is that those choices will be sincere. A lot of interactions with others get positive affinity when Takuma is sincere, and it's Takuma's sincerity that also ties into some decisions I can't talk about. So we're sticking with reliability for Takuma, and as such, Capney brought us home by giving Agumon an aquatic Armadigivolution in Scuba-Dramon. I'm always most fond of Armadigimon that do something unique with the base rookie, and Scuba-Dramon is so unique. It also gives Agumon something he basically never gets, and that is an affinity and powers of the water and the ocean. Especially given the geography of the Digimon Survive world, you can 100% see how Scuba-Dramon would have been incredibly handy in battle and in traversing distances.
Like with the Sailors.
Just a really great interpretation of the Digi-Egg of reliability here, and giving Agumon a whole new set of attributes. I love it. Hopping on from Digimon Survive, it's time for Digimon
Alright, well.
Tamers, hit it!
Alright, I will stop there because that was a nice little roller coaster there. Why was he talking so fast? I have it sped up. Oh, okay. My bad, I didn't know I had sped it up. But if you guys liked it sped up, or if you didn't like it sped up, let me know down in the comments. I'll let you know depending on how it goes. If you guys want regular speed, if you guys like the sped up version, so we can get through it faster. Considering there's still an hour left of this video. Good gravy. Anyway, you guys let me know down in the comments below. I'll listen to your comments. I'll listen to what you guys prefer, and we will see what we do for the next video. You guys take care. Look forward to the next video as we go and enjoy some Pokemon again. I'll see you guys there, and looking forward to seeing y'all there. Bye!